Most people look at boats and think luxury, think vacations, weekends, maybe something they do once or twice a year. But what most people don't realize is that behind every boat, there's a business. And after spending the last few weeks really diving into marinas, studying how they work, how they make money, and who owns them, let's be honest, and I'm gonna tell you something. I was not expecting this at all, because not only is this asset class bigger than I ever thought, but the response I've gotten just from putting out a few organic videos, running a couple ads around marinas, has been insane. I've had buyers reaching out saying, I didn't even know this was something you could even invest in. And at the same time, I've had marina owners reaching out saying, hey, I think I might be thinking about selling, or time for me to cashing out. That right there tells you something. There's a shift happening. So in this video, I'm going to break down the hidden business behind the boats and how marinas actually make their money, why they're suddenly getting so much attention, and what I found after really studying this space. If you're new here, my name is Greg, and I talk about commercial real estate, investing strategies, and how to build real wealth through assets most people overlook. And if you want help understanding how this could fit into your strategy, there's a link below where you can book a call with me or get a custom roadmap. But before we talk about how marinas make money, we need to understand how we got here. Because this didn't just appear overnight. In order to understand marinas, you have to understand boating. And boating has always been tied to status, freedom, and access. If you go all the way back, boats weren't recreational. They were functional for shipping, trades, transportation. Owning a boat means survival or business. Then over time, especially in the early 1900s, something's changed. Boating became recreational. As wealth grew, particularly in coastal cities, boats started to represent something completely different. Leisure, status, lifestyle. You started to see yacht clubs form, private marinas, waterfront communities built around boating culture. And what's interesting is this wasn't just a niche thing. This influenced entire regions. Places like South Florida, Jersey Shore, Southern California. These areas didn't just grow because of real estate. They grew because of lifestyle. And boating was a huge part of that. Fast forward to today, and boating is still deeply tied to identity. But now there is not just the ultra wealthy. You have a wide range of people participating in boating, from small center consoles to $1 million yachts and everything in between. And every single one of those boats needs somewhere to go. That's where marinas come. Now there's the part that surprised me the most, actually. Marinas are not just about parking like boats and for lots and for wet slips. They are operating businesses, in many cases very profitable ones at that. So how do they actually make their money? There are a few core revenue streams. The first, the most obvious, is slip rentals. In the water and out the water. This is essentially renting a boat slip for you. If you own a boat, you need to somewhere dock it. And depending on the location, the size of the slip, and the demand, these can be really expensive. In high demand markets, you're talking thousands of dollars per month for a single slip. And here's what's interesting. There's often a limited supply, and you can't just build marinas anywhere. You need waterfront access, permits, environmental approvals. So in a lot of areas, the existing marinas are extremely valuable. Now, in the second revenue stream is storage. Very important. Not everyone keeps their boat in the water year-round. So marinas will offer dry dock storage, either outdoor racks or indoor facilities. These will allow them to serve more customers without needing more waterfront. And in some cases, dry dock storage can actually be more efficient and profitable per square foot. The third revenue stream is service and maintenance. Boats require consistent upkeeping, cleaning, repairs, engine work, and many marinas either offer these services directly or can lease space to operators who do, which means additional income without necessarily taking on all the operational risk. Then you have the fuel. This is a big one. Marinas often operate fuel docks. And while marinas on fuel alone might not be massive, it drives traffic. If someone is fueling up, they're likely spending money elsewhere on the property. Which brings me to the next piece: ancillary revenue. Restaurants, retail shops, boat rentals, memberships, which is very key. Some marinas have turned themselves into a full-service destination, like one of my clients actually. Not just a place to dock their boat, but a place to spend your time. And this is where things start to scale, because now you're not just monetizing the boat owner, you're monetizing the whole entire experience. Now let's talk numbers at a high level, because this is where people really start paying attention. Marinas can generate multiple layers of income from the same piece of real estate. So you have the base rent for the wet slips, dry dock storage income, service revenue, fuel sales, retail, and food, all stacked on top of each other. In strong markets, occupancy is very high. People don't want to give up their slips. In fact, in some areas, they are actually having wait lists for them, which creates pricing power. Now, does that mean this is super easy? Not at all. There are challenges: environmental regulations, weather risks, operational complexity. This is not a passive investment. You're running a business, but that's also why there's opportunity, because not everyone wants to deal with that complexity. And this is where I start connecting the dots, which is super interesting. The reason I'm seeing so much interest right now is because marinas sit at the intersection of real estate and business. And you have hard assets with operating income, and in the market where people are looking for yield, that combination is very attractive. At the same time, a lot of owners for the marinas have been holding these properties for decades, family owned, built over time, and now they're looking around, realizing values are up, interest is increasing, and it might be the right time to sell. So you have the demand for the buyers and the supply starting to open up from the owners. That's a moment. And I didn't expect to see it this clearly, just from putting out a few pieces of content. But when both sides start reaching out, you know something is happening. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Marinas are one of those asset classes that most people never think about. They see the boats, but they never actually see behind what the business is doing. And once you understand that business, you start to look at waterfront real estate completely different. You realize it's not just about views. It's about more like the infrastructure. It's about access. It's about controlling a piece of a system that people really rely on. So if you're someone who's been focused on apartments or retail or even warehouses, this might be something worth paying attention today. Not because it's trendy, but because it's misunderstood. And those are usually the best opportunities to grab. If you made it this far, just comment Marina below and I'll send you a breakdown of how I'd start analyzing this asset class. And if you're serious about getting into deals like this, or even exploring whether it makes sense for you, there's a link in the description where you can book a call with me or get a custom roadmap. I'll see you on the next one.